Name one thing a woman invented. Empathy, respect, kindness, friendship, any meaningful connection with another human being. You.
Hey guys, welcome back to another one. I meant to mention it last video, at the beginning of the video, but I totally forgot because I got all wrapped up in that breaking news about how gingers are black people now. It's still mind-blowing. When I asked you guys about the Canadian content for Canadian politics and whatnot, I surprisingly got back an extremely positive response out of you guys. A lot of you guys in the comments actually stated that, yeah, you'd like to know more about it, how our elections work out here, how they divvy up seats and all that type of stuff. Tomorrow I'm going to compile up some clips, and I will put together I'll dedicate one video towards this and explain to you guys how the elections work out here, how what we call ridings work, how you divvy up our house out here, how do you become a majority government, what's the minority governments, what type of powers do they hold, and what I feel took place in this election and what was a little bit shady. I don't know if I'll have that video out tomorrow night. I'll do my best efforts to have that video out tomorrow night, but I will definitely start compiling it as of tomorrow. Let's get back to our usual liberals, guys.
ICE agents in multiple facilities around the country have been accused of rampant assault of children and women, like constant SA happening in ICE facilities. And the government has investigated this and decided to let it continue. The Biden administration's Justice Department actually opened an investigation into SA committed by ICE agents, and the Trump administration closed that investigation as soon as they took office because Trump thinks abusing children is good. He calls it part of his deterrence policy, meaning that your taxes are going to sexually assaulting children, and the government is knowingly using your tax dollars to do this. This is what ICE is. It's a jobs program for pedophiles and neo-Nazis.
I knew this country was screwed when my ex-best friend told me that she saw an article saying that aborted babies were put into trash cans and that you could still hear them crying from the trash cans. And she wholeheartedly believed that.
It's funny, every time I post a video that's against MAGA and Trump Republicans and basically ignorant motherfuckers, they always fight to get in the circle jerk in the comments and fight over who gets to suck on diaper Donnie Daddy's dick next. And it's the most hilarious thing. These are the stupidest fucking people I have ever encountered. It's wild.
Say what you will about Sleepy Joe. He had the common sense to talk about military exercises in the Situation Room and not on Signal. And oh yeah, he was there.
I know it's been 6 months. I was on the fence about the blue bracelets back in November, but I am a whole ass white woman in Texas. I cannot wear a shirt every day that says I voted for her. So what else can I do? What's out there? Blue bracelet? Sign me up. Do I need to wear a rainbow pin all the time? Okay. Because I do not want anybody to think I agree with these motherfuckers. No, I don't.
Democrats have had 3 consecutive elite-chosen presidential nominees. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris were all chosen for us by the elites, as opposed to Obama and Bill Clinton, who were chosen by the people. This is part of why the Democratic Party has had this disconnect between the party and the people, because we keep getting nominees who are not coming from the people, while we're fighting against a nominee who is absolutely of the people. The Republican establishment would have never chosen Donald Trump, and for a long time they wished that he would go away. But the people wanted him, and he took over the GOP, and now you have Dem after Dem who are chosen by elites competing with somebody who the people on the right are actually rabid about. This says to me, if we have another election, and it's actually an election and it's fair and all that, Dems need to let the Democratic voters actually choose who they want.
I'm going to actually completely agree with him. Now, I know we've played him on the channel before, and he's usually, like far left, wacky, and all this type of stuff. Now, he just laid it out entirely that the way how the Democrat candidates have been chosen by the elites, as he called it, that is not a democracy. That's not very democratic, right? I mean, let's be real. It almost sounds like as if possibly Donald Trump was correct and there's actually these higher power people that make decisions. What does he call them? The deep state, I believe, that's trying to install their candidates to try and stay in power forever. The people that are on the right, the evil ones, the bad guys, the fascists, the racist, the ones who cheer on their dictators and whatnot, they actually have, I guess, what they're going to refer to as like a democratic way or democracy. That's what they were saying, right? This is not a democracy. So I guess that would act as a democracy, that the people are actually getting to choose their candidate. And even though the powers that be, the deep state, they couldn't stop it because the movement was so strong. But the people that are on the left that have been letting the elites control everything, and they still don't see anything wrong with that, they think that the people on the right are in a cult because we actually got to choose the candidate. Do you liberals not see anything wrong with the big picture here?
I've never felt unsafe around a trans woman, ever. My womanhood has never felt threatened by a trans woman, ever. And if your womanhood has, I think that speaks more to the fragility of your womanhood than anything about trans women. Because quite honestly, how pathetic to target one of the most oppressed groups in our society. Honestly, loser behavior. And for all those people who say they care about women's sports and women's safety, where are you petitioning for more funding for women's sports? Where are you petitioning for better legislation to persecute sexual assault against women? Overwhelming majority of which is committed by cis men. You don't care about women. You just want to target those that are already oppressed. Loser behavior.
Breaking news, the Supreme Court is full of transphobe bigots as well. They overturned the lower court's stay on the Trump ban on transgender soldiers in the military. And conservative Christians across the country are foaming at the mouth happy right now. These Americans have laid down their lives on the line. And you disgusting motherfuckers have thrown them on the trash heap. I am so fucking sick of you people calling yourself patriots. These people get knocked down, kicked, and spit on every fucking day. It makes my blood fucking boil that you do not see them as human beings that are worthy. To the trans community, I'm sorry, not all of us are complete bags of shit. I wish I had more words of comfort, but this is the bad fucking place right now.
So Trump says he wants to make America more religious. One that can't even quote a verse from the Bible himself. The most unreligious person in the world. Fuck him.
Hey MAGA, remember when you guys would get like really upset over there being a Pride Month because your argument was, well, why doesn't the military have their own month? Which they do, by the way. It's this month, and shout out to our military, they deserve it. Well, what do you think about old Trumpy getting rid of Veterans Day? Is that showing respect to our military people? But you're gonna keep being mad about Pride Month, aren't you?
No, I suppose I could follow up with the other thing, which is that Elon Musk, when he came here on his student visa, dropped out of school, which you're not allowed to do on a student visa, then he opened a business, which you're not allowed to do on a student visa. When he went to go get his full citizenship, they would have asked him, Mr. Musk, have you ever violated the terms of your visa agreement? If he had said yes, he would have been deported, which means he said no and lied to the visa official. And he got his citizenship on false pretenses, which means that Elon Musk should probably be investigated for citizenship fraud and be deported. As soon as he is, I'll believe that you guys care about illegal immigrants.
Trump is offering $1,000 to migrants to return to their country of origin, which is funny because I thought that Republicans were really upset about apparently giving migrants money. And now they're offering that and probably praising it. I haven't seen their side of TikTok. First things first, the Trump administration is never going to pay that. So don't even bother with the offer. They're not paying you. They're like, you have to return and then prove that you return. They might as well have been offering $1 million. They're not paying that. But also, it's funny because, like, Republicans were like, oh, he's an amazing with immigration. He's going to get all these people out of here, et cetera, et cetera. And within 3 months, the Trump administration has reverted to just like, please leave, we'll pay you, we'll get please. So very clearly, it's not going particularly well for Donald Trump's immigration plan, as we all said that it wouldn't. I mean, wait, let's try this out. Do you remember when they were like, oh, they had to pay people to get the vaccines because it wasn't working that well? They had to offer money. And now they're turning around and offering migrants money. And they're probably going to be like, yeah, that was awesome. The fact remains, though, that Donald Trump's policies are failing. And this is a really pathetic attempt to somehow salvage his already disastrous administration.
Republicans are only really upset about giving migrants money if it was in the form of EBT cards and food stamps, and they were actually getting more than American citizens were with their EBT cards and food stamps. If it just cost a plane ticket and $1,000 for them to go home, I think Republicans are absolutely fine with that. And especially if it's going to be cheaper. We've heard the reports with the standard ICE deportations, and we're talking about, again, the criminals. That's who Trump and them are basically after. They're still going to have the standard ICE deportations for those criminals. It's the ones that are more or less like, hey, I'm not causing any crime while I'm here, but I'm here illegally. Trump's pretty much all asking them kindly, like, hey, save us the headache. We're eventually going to catch you, but if you self-deport, here's a plane ticket, and when you get to your landing area, here's $1,000 to set you on your way. Opposed to $17,000 United States funds per each one going out with the ICE format as it is now. Why do you think the Trump administration will not pay them $1,000? If they have every intention of not paying them, don't you think they would say that it's $10,000 in? $20,000? To say, hey, you know, we really want to make sure that you get to where you're going. Here's 10 grand when you land. Don't you think they'd make it more enticing if they planned on not paying them and everybody would bail that's not supposed to be here? Who wouldn't really jump back to their country to have $10,000 US when they get there? But that's not the case, and that's why they're stating $1,000, because they do have every intent on giving you $1,000 when they get to their landing zone. And don't get the story twisted up. Republicans still have every little bit of confidence when it comes to Trump on deportation. They just didn't anticipate that there was going to be so many activist judges trying to get in front of his way. How long do you think they will tolerate these judges before they start impeaching them? You know, the funny thing is, in El Salvador, for Nayib Bukele, this worked out pretty well. If you really look at what he did when he first took over that country, he impeached all of the judges, and he investigated the entire government cabinet, and he picked up and arrested all of the criminals. And look at El Salvador now. That's not a dictatorship. He liberated his people. The judges were standing in the way out there as well. So the judges' days are numbered.
When is enough going to be enough? That man literally got up on television and said, I don't know, to upholding the Constitution. Yet your party is prided on the Constitution. You defend the Constitution. That is a big part of your party's platform. All I hear all the time is First Amendment, Second Amendment, Second Amendment. The Second Amendment should be amended. When they made that in 1776, they were dealing with muskets. I'm actually concerned for the safety of our children because of the AK-47s and AR-15s we have out now. Over drag queens going to school, I think guns are a little bit more concerning. And never say Democrats are out of touch again, because that man literally went up on television and said, buy them $2 instead of 30. And his response to that when they asked him was 250 pencils, or don't buy them 250 pencils instead of 5. Republicans in Congress, it is time to stop fearing him. This is supposed to be a democracy, not a call. It is time to stop fearing him and impeach that man.
Education, reading books, critical thinking, you know, the things that you guys hate.
One more person tells me he's playing 18-dimensional chess, I'm gonna fucking lose it. He's getting his ideas from movies, people. His brain is so broken. He now wants to reopen Alcatraz, you know, the prison in the middle of the water that you can only access by helicopter or boat that's been abandoned since 1963. An idea that I'm sure was pushed forward by Timu Goebbels over here. We are truly in the dumbest, stupidest, most terrible timeline.
Okay, Gingers, I know we got some exciting news this week. And I just want to remind you that we all need to be on our best behavior, because if anybody screws this up for us, the hell that will be unleashed upon you. This is the first thing that has made sense in the year of our Lord 2025. Do not fuck it up.
Bro, you're a victim of propaganda, and it's generational. Like, if every single person started at 0, politically, we would all go left.
I can guarantee you the day it happens, it's going to end up being a global party that day. And then it's going to be turned into an international holiday on a go-forward basis every year. El Salvador is even having buyer's remorse at this point. Like, that man has a talent of getting everybody else in trouble. Mark Carney's face yesterday, like, just peak, like...
So you're telling me that the only reason that millions of people believe that Trump is a liar is because the media tells us he's a liar? You know, there's this thing called Google, right? And the internet. And another thing, I know you don't know what it is, but it's called critical thinking and using your brain. You know, we're able to fact check now, right? In real time, because we have the internet. Yeah, it has nothing to do with what the media is telling us. We actually use our own brains and fact check the things he says and then realize that he's lying over and over and over again. Statistically, he lied approximately 30,000 times his first term as president. And it's just so funny because MAGAs admit that he's a liar all the time. MAGAs admit that they know he's a liar all the time. So, do the MAGAs only believe he's a liar because of the media too?
Honestly, guys, I had to watch this clip. It must have been about 3 times because it was actually hard to take it seriously. Now, we've used her on the channel before, so I know she's not satire, but this felt like satire. If I never seen her before, I would not believe that this clip is real. There's only 2 things that she can be. Either she is a liar or she's extremely unintelligent. I will agree with whoever wrote her that comment that yes, you guys believe everything that your mainstream media tells you, which is a lie. And if you think that there's this thing called Google, right? If you think Google is telling you the truth, you really need to dig deeper. If you really want to test out that theory, to any liberal out there, the next time Donald Trump does something that's actually good, like say for instance, that UK deal that he just broke the other day, go on Google, just type in Donald Trump and see what type of news stories it'll tell you about that UK deal. It's going to be nothing but negative propaganda towards Trump about what's wrong with the deal. Or if it's something that they cannot pull apart by propaganda, that will be buried to like page 3 or 4. Now you'll notice one of the hit words that the liberals like to use a lot is critical thinking, how they have critical thinking and how we don't have critical thinking. I would totally disagree with most liberals there. I do not believe that you guys actually have the skill set of critical thinking. I think that most of your thinking is pre-programmed. Now, why do I think this? Well, because most liberals actually prove this on a daily basis. This young lady here just stated that she does not believe everything that the media tells her, that she actually does her own thinking and her own research. Yet, most of the lines that they use, most of the statistics that they throw at you, even when she just threw the 30,000 lies in his first term, where did that statistic come from? Pretty sure Rachel Maddow had something to do with that. I'm pretty sure Joy Reid had something to do with that. I'm pretty sure that the mainstream media had something to do with those statistics. Now, moving on to fact checking. I'm not a big fan of fact checking. Reason being is I find fact checking is actually just suppression. Again, this is just in my opinion, YouTube. Go back before the era of Donald Trump. Did you guys ever even really hear the words fact check that often? Now there's fact checking left, right, and center. There's fact checking algorithms on websites. But okay, the liberals like to actually rely on fact check. Again, they're being told by somebody else if something is true or not without doing their own research. But to the liberals out there, can you just please answer me this? Is there a fact checking service, site, news station, anything that actually provides a service of fact checking that doesn't lean to the left? If you guys are not relying on some type of outfit to do your fact checking for you to give you your answers, that's great. You guys are doing your own research, but the chances are you're doing your research on Google and you're looking at the results on page number 1, which is not actually doing research. Keep in mind, Google many years ago used to be built all off algorithm and your site traffic. If your site was getting a lot of hits, you go up higher and higher and higher in the search results. Now, you could just pay to be near the top on page number 1. So to nobody's surprise, no matter what you search for any type of statistic, look at page number 1, look at all the results, and they're all news stations that are left-leaning. Does it make sense? I know a lot of people, even on the right, are not big fans of Fox News. I actually kind of like these guys quite a bit. Doesn't mean I believe every single thing that they say, but don't you guys find it fishy that no matter how big Fox News is, and they have much more viewership than all these other news stations, they get much more viewership, but they're never like on page 1 of the search results of Google? Now, to end it off, she wants to state, MAGAs admit that Donald Trump is a liar all the time. MAGAs admit it all the time. No, that is not true at all. I will admit that Donald Trump embellishes. If Donald Trump is asked a question that may stump him like a statistic and he doesn't know it, he'll throw the number out there. He does that actually quite a bit, where sometimes it might just be better if he just stops and acts like, let me try and remember that for a second. No, Donald Trump likes to give you the impression that he knows everything at all times, and sometimes the information that he throws out there is conflicting. Is he trying to directly lie to the public? No. Will he embellish? Oh, hell yeah. At the end of the day, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The liberal mind appears to be very easy to program. They do come off as highly educated people. A lot of them have put themselves through a lot of education. There's a huge difference, though, between being educated and actually being intelligent. You can maybe know your math equations. You guys are very good when it comes to your grammar and spelling. That's great. When it comes to common sense and actual survival skills, no. Not whatsoever. You guys are pretty much all dumb as doornails. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Of course, I still have one more clip for you guys. If you guys are new to the channel and you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. If not, if you guys can either like the video, share the video, interact with the video in one way or another, that'll be greatly appreciated. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys.
It's always like super strange to me when people bring up, oh, but you're murdering children if you're okay with abortion. Okay, well, you're murdering somebody else's child, and you're eating somebody else's child when you ate a fucking hamburger. You're murdering somebody's child. You're killing somebody's child when you decided to step on that spider or that ant or whatever else fucking bug was in your way that you killed for your own benefit, or whoever's mammal's child or fish's child you fucking unalived for your own benefit. So stop acting like death is not a normal fucking part of our life. Stop acting as if you are not born a killer. Because for you to move on to the next day, a plant must die in your stomach. A creature must die and be put into your stomach for you to survive. That is the part of being on this earth. It is gnarly, it is grisly, it is disgusting. But you know what's not okay? Trying to force your will onto another person for your own idea of a benefit. And if you think that's what's going on, okay. Well, then why don't you and I fucking duke it out on the streets and be primitive and see whose will is more forceful over the other, because that, at the end of the day, is what's going to solve this problem. Because at the end of the day, it's other people trying to tell other people what they can and can't murder, what they can and can't kill, when they themselves are already murderers and killers. It's weird. It's fucking weird. Yeah. Life is valuable, and death is also valuable. Everything that is born and is living will die. And we can also explain morality, we can explain legality, and at the end of the day, all it is subjective. Legality and morality is always going to be subjective. So if you want to fucking duke it out over which one of our wills is more forceful over the other, we can. But at the end of the day, death is going to happen. At the end of the day, we all are born killers. So stop acting like you are on this high moral horse when I know you yourself are okay with killing creatures for your own benefit. You just want to control women and what you think is okay for women to do and not to do for the sake of the Homo sapiens species. When you don't care about the animals that were killed, when you don't care about the bugs that were killed, when you don't care about any of that shit, you just want to control Homo sapien women. You're a hypocrite. I'm the only one that's living in reality here, and it's a crazy fucking world that we live in. End of story.